All right, Shel Broadnax here with Stager Talk. I am so extremely excited today to be talking to Todd McAllister and Michelle Minch. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Todd, video requires that you speak. You have to say, hello, people. Hello, people. So we are super excited here today. These are, I will have to say, you all are probably two of my favorite people in the industry, or probably on the planet. And I'm going to tell you why. You are very much givers. You do give from your heart. And I think you genuinely enjoy helping other people. And you really do have a deep affection for the industry and for its overall well-being. And I certainly have an appreciation for that. So thank you on behalf of the entire industry to both of you for being so giving and helpful to others.
Glad to be of service.
So we're going to talk today a little bit about RESACON and Todd and Michelle's topic. So Michelle, you're going to be talking about inventory buying secrets.
Yes.
And Todd, you are going to be talking about your warehouse. So you've done a part of this presentation before, both of you. I hope Todd hasn't left the room. Todd's still there. So there you go.
Oh, he's back.
You're back in. Okay, so both of these have kind of been touched on in the past, but there are so many new people in the industry, number one. And then, of course, everybody's making, not everybody, but a good amount of people are now making those moves in their business to raise the bar and to buy wholesale. It's much better return on your investment. I'm sure Michelle Minch, you will agree with that. And
yes.
We just need more education about it. So let's start with Michelle. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to be sharing with everybody at RESACON.
I am going to be sharing, inventory buying secrets. I'm going to be telling everybody about the best items to buy to build up their inventory, and a little bit about where to buy it and how to store it, and mistakes that I've made in the past. Hopefully people can learn from my mistakes and not make those same mistakes.
Absolutely. I remember when I started a staging business. I ran it for about 4 months and I had so many jobs. For about 4 months. I couldn't stand I love the sales and marketing and the branding and building the business end of the staging. But then every time I get a job, I'm like, oh God, I have to go out and stage it. So then I went out and I bought a truck.
I feel like that sometimes.
I was like, oh no, seriously. Like, yay, I got the job. And I'm like, oh, I got to go stage it. I don't like that part. But I bought a truck. It was great. I didn't have it wrapped quite yet. I was waiting a little bit on that just to get a few jobs under our belt. Then I went out and bought inventory. And my first purchase was this just amazing little kidney bean shaped sofa that I could never, ever use again other than the one spot that I bought it for. So that is one secret that I can tell you. Don't go with the kidney bean sofa. So I'm sure everybody will appreciate your pearls of wisdoms, especially when you talk about the mistakes.
Kidney bean sofas are hot right now.
Oh, this one, I don't know. It was a game room piece only, I think. It was interesting. And don't use fake flowers in the yard. I did all that.
Yes. Yeah.
I did that.
That was a thing years ago.
It did look good. I will say it was very creative and it did look great. But don't do that. You don't want to do that. So Todd, touch on a little bit about what you're going to talk about.
So I'm going to be talking about and it's something that 16 years, we've had 4 major moves. And in every move, we have always learned something, and moving is painful. It's expensive and it's painful. It never end. So just a set of plans in the world, just know that things are going to go awry. Ready? But I kind of enjoy warehousing and sharing what we've learned, the failed successes we've had over the years. And I think you can failure and a success. And be taking extensive photos of our warehouse right now. House is something that, not everybody's going to have. I mean, they can probably aspire to that, and I want people to aspire to be the very, but I want people to take away I implemented and bring them down photos of our Boise warehouse, which are little square feet, and that's something that I think most people can relate to. So I want who are, in here a couple, and they say, I can do a 4,000 square foot warehouse. I'm going to show you what we do different sizes, so you can actually see what we've done, and learn those and things like that.
Okay, so Todd, I'm having a hard time hearing you. Michelle, are you able to make him out on your end? And if anybody that's listening on Facebook, can you type in the chat box if the audio is okay?
No, Todd's sounds like he's underwater, and I'm hearing about every third word.
Not able to hear me?
Yeah, it's every
I don't
third word.
think you can. I think it's maybe his internet connection.
Yeah, internet connection's not strong.
Fix it, Todd.
Wave the magic wand. Make everybody else get off their internet. So we'll skip over to Michelle for a minute while we're seeing if we can get some tech assistance for Todd. So Michelle, how long have you been in business? Can you let everybody know just a little bit about your background and what brings you to the staging industry? Because you have a really unique perspective on things in the background.
I started my business in 2006, the end of 2006. I, prior to that, worked in the film industry and was doing a lot of interior design work.
I can't hear you at all.
Hey, Todd, we can hear everything.
Why don't you guys mute yourselves for a second, Todd?
Todd, mute yourself. Mark. But prior to that, I was working in the film industry as a production designer and doing interior design. I helped an interior design client with their house all the way over in Kansas City. I live in Los Angeles, and they expected it to take 6 months to sell, and it sold within the first 2 weeks, and it was the highest price sale in Kansas City at that time. So I came home, I mentioned it to a next door neighbor who was a real estate agent, and she was like, "You should be a stager." I was like, "What the hell's a stager? I have no idea." So I did some research, and am I allowed to say who I trained with?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I found the home staging resource, which was great for me because I already had the design component down pretty well, but I needed all the business information. Then I stumbled upon something called Active Rain, and that was because of something that Audra had said about learning how to blog. And so I went to Active Rain, which is where I met Shell and a number of other people, and it was a great opportunity to learn about building websites, search engine optimization, and blogging, and it was kind of like my first social network. I'm glad Todd is sharing all this.
I know, Todd, you're so noisy. He's like a bull in the china shop.
Todd, don't go to the bathroom.
Are we there?
Yes.
We're there, Todd.
Okay, good.
All right. So I remember those Active Rain days. I mean, that's really where RESA was kind of born out of. And everybody pulled together. I had just heard about it. And when I jumped on, there was already people there. And I was like, whoa, look at all these stagers from everywhere. And it was just so amazing. And
there were hundreds of us.
Hundreds of them. Yeah.
Now there's thousands of us.
Now there's thousands. So it is really amazing how all of that's kind of grown. And gosh, way back in the day, we had
Good job, Ryan.
We're killing it today. This is what we call welcome to live video, everybody.
So anyhow, Active Rain was really great. We shared a lot of information amongst ourselves. There were several groups. One of them was Stage It Forward, actually. We shared a ton of information. I made a lot of really good friends because of that. And, people would kind of like Facebook. We didn't have Facebook then, believe it or not. Back in the day, we didn't have Facebook.
Absolutely.
And so that was our kind of social media experience. And I still remember the post that you made, Shell, where you said, is anybody interested in joining an association of home stagers? And I was so excited about that.
I do remember that. I remember when it was first happening, because the reason that I did it, it wasn't my idea to come up with it, but it was, I knew hundreds and thousands of stagers from working at my previous job. And once I got out on my own, I was doing business coaching for home stagers. Everybody was saying the same thing. We needed something. And, I worked at Staged Homes, and they had IHOSP for the ASPs. And back then you couldn't join IHOSP unless you were an ASP. Right. So everybody else said, well, we need something for us. Mm-hmm. So I actually got together with the different training providers that were out there. And we all kind of had a meeting of the minds. And I said, look, this is something that we could actually do for everybody. And I remember back then being told, it'll never happen. It'll never work. You'll never get all stagers of all designations to come together under one roof and to socialize with each other, to do events with each other, to have chapters with each other. It'll never, never, ever happen. And
you did it.
10 years later, here we are, stronger than ever. So yeah, that was a really great foundation.
Right. And we were doing the roundtables all across the country. I mean, I think that was that pre-RESA or just at the very start of RESA?
That was at the very start of RESA. And then Craig started the roundtables and Stage It Forward. And then after Craig kind of exited the industry, RESA, with his blessing, took over the Stage It Forward. And he's allowed us to use the name. He said, yeah, absolutely, take it, run with it. So now we have that group on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And it was really neat because we promoted those. We called them the Stage It Forward. And then RESA promoted them for everybody. Right. And then everybody across the country did those particular meetings, and now it's turned into full-fledged chapters for everybody. So it's amazing.
Some of my closest staging friends I met as a result of those roundtable meetings.
Yep, absolutely. That was good. Todd, were you ever on Active Reign?
I was. I mean, I didn't. I knew about it, but I have a lot of time to be on it.
Right.
Because I was busy, just, I was kind of a one-person show, two-person show, and like most people starting out, you're doing. And so I knew about it, and I understand the whole blogging thing, and so I just not do it.
Yeah, I really want to ask Todd about what he's going to talk about at RESACON, but he's going to sound like, Dory under the water, going rock, 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 Charlie Brown's teacher. Because we're still having
Can
a little
you
bit.
Hear me?
Yeah, it's about every fifth or sixth word on this one.
It's still not great.
Still not great.
Can you use your phone as a hotspot?
And I can't hear Michelle at all, so it could be on my end.
Yeah, I think definitely on your end. So at any rate, let's just keep plugging on. We are having questions open. If everybody's on and wants to ask a question, go ahead and put it in the chat box. We do like to have this interactive as much as we can. So I'll kind of just continue on with everything here. Now, we do know Michelle and Todd teach an amazing in-person class on wholesale. Michelle, can you tell everybody about that?
Yes, we're doing it this year on July 29th, which is the first day after. Sorry, I'm trying to turn on Facebook chat. So
you don't want to do that because then you're going to hear it. We're going to echo.
I turned it off. Okay, so because I wanted to see the comments that people were making, but we're teaching it on July 29th. That's the day after it ends. We'll be teaching it at the Las Vegas World Market. It's an 8-hour class, very hands-on. Todd and I will take our students through the Las Vegas World Market. It's actually the first day that the show is open. One of the things that's different and unique about our class is that we teach the class at the beginning of market. So students who want to stay on after the class have 5 days to make their purchases. I've heard of other classes where they teach the class at the end of the market, and then the students only have like a few hours to go around and make any purchases. So our class is at the beginning of the market. Todd and I will be there for most of the market to answer any questions that people might have during the class. But we take you around to, I think it's about 50 rooms, and we introduce you. We introduce you to your reps. We take you through the showroom, look at the furniture, artwork, and accessories, and we'll show you things that Todd and I actually purchase for our home staging inventory and what we think is a good buy.
Awesome. So Michelle, how big is your warehouse now?
I have an 8,000 square foot warehouse. I've been in here for 3 years. Of course, when I first got it, and I show pictures of that when I speak at RESACON, when I first got it, it seemed so huge, and I thought there was no way I was ever going to fill it up. And now, well, probably about 12 months in, I wish that I had a 10 or a 12,000 square foot warehouse.
Yeah,
Because it's full up to the 18-foot ceilings with probably enough for about 100 houses, depending on the size. I do a lot of really super big houses over 5,000 square feet, and that eats up a lot of inventory. So I would say I probably got between 60 and 100 houses worth of furniture, if depending on if they're bigger or smaller houses.
That's awesome. And Todd, how big is your warehouse in Portland?
I'm at 20 feet.
How many square feet?
20,000.
20,000.
Wow. That's incredible. I just saw someone on one of the groups earlier this week who was so excited about moving into their 3,200 square foot warehouse. And I went, oh, sweetie, you're going to want to wish you had 5 times that amount in 12 months. But it's a good problem to have. I guess it's hard to move warehouses. That's just very, very costly. So I guess it does make sense to plan a little bit ahead. And even if you have the extra space, because you're going to fill it up. So we're still having technical difficulties.
I've always told people.
Yep. So Gail Novak's asking a question. Could you please tell me the name and date of the Las Vegas market course again?
July 29th.
July 29th?
It's a Sunday. It's the first day of market. If you want to take the class, you need to register for our class. And you also have to register separately for the Las Vegas market. If we can't take you we can't take you through the showrooms, and you can't buy unless you're registered at the Las Vegas market.
Right, and you do need a resale license in order to register, correct?
I know there's people who don't have resale licenses because certain states don't require them in order to buy wholesale. Each person would have to individually contact the market and find out if they're eligible.
Okay.
And then I've heard of people getting in like with a business checking account and a membership to ASID or hang on, sorry.
Right, I think they do make some exceptions. And there are some wholesale vendors that will sell to people without resale license if they pay the sales tax up front. So that's something else to keep in mind. Some of them do, some of them don't.
It's not a preferred method of business because a lot of them aren't set up to collect sales tax.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, thanks, she says. Great class, Gail. You will love it for sure. We hear a ton of great feedback out of it. And then, of course, the first day of market, RESA is having a breakfast. We're not sure at the location yet, but it'll be at the Las Vegas market to welcome any of our RESA members that are going over. And then we're also going to do a tour as well. So if you're not able to make it into Michelle and Todd's class, you can go on our tour and tour around with all the wholesale vendors that are partners with RESA. because they're all going to be there, as well as being at RESACON. So what else is going on? What are you finding staging industry-wise? What's the temperature in your local markets? Michelle?
We're really busy right now. Obviously, I think everybody experiences highs and lows. It's almost like waves coming into the shore. But right now we're super busy, so it's great, and hoping that that's going to continue on through the end of the year.
Yep, awesome. And Todd, I know Todd's super busy because Todd now has 4 locations.
Always busy.
You are, I think you are the,
Yes.
I'm gonna go out and say it. Todd has got to have the largest staging business, at least in the United States. It's not on the planet. He's got 4 separate locations: Idaho, Oregon, Washington, and California. Amazing.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Still a little bit wobbly
Can you
underwater.
hear me?
It's not great.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we just recently purchased San Francisco about 2 months ago. It was an existing.
Yep, an
It was
existing.
I'll say what he said. It was an existing staging business that he purchased from another stager, and he brought along a few of his own employees, but hired a lot of
Can
the
you hear
existing
me?
employees. Now we can a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're just going to have massive problems on Todd's end. So let me also make a plug for Ryan. Ryan Marsh was brought on to Todd's company over the last couple years and has really just taken hold of it. And he's going to be teaching at RESACON as well, and showing people and teaching you how to do the same thing, how to make really great strategic plans for your business in order to have optimized growth. And they'll be able to, they have the blueprint right there for everything that they've done with on stage. So I'm super excited to hear him. I got to meet Ryan for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and I just told him, I loved everything about him, his vibe, his brain. Even for what he wrote up for us, it's like, I have a really strong appreciation for how his mind works. And it was very apparent with what it is that he's done and the materials that he put together for us to read over when he submitted to speak. I was just all over. I'm like, this kid knows what he's doing. I shouldn't call him, he's a kid to me, but he's a young adult.
Yeah.
But absolutely stellar. And I had to tell him. I said, I'm going to be your biggest fan.
In addition, yeah.
Yeah, when you get people like that, you're like, yes.
Addition.
Well, I love it. Well, Todd, we're having such a hard time hearing you, and I am so sorry, but we're at the 10:30 mark, so I think we'll just go ahead and wrap it up. Any last words, Michelle?
Wholesale buying is a blessing and a curse. It's you never stop spending money. You're constantly adding to your inventory and refreshing. That's a question I see a lot of times on in Facebook groups, is when can I stop buying? Your buying should slow down somewhat after you've been doing it for a couple of years, but you'll always be buying. I mean, we're constantly getting rid of inventory, bringing in new inventory, refreshing what we have. Things get damaged, things get sold. So it's kind of an ongoing life of your business process. I have to say that it's enabled me.
They can't hear me at all.
Now we can.
I can hear Shell.
So you can't even say anything?
That's
Michelle.
Alan, Todd's partner in the background.
I don't think I've ever met Alan.
Computer.
Oh, Alan's awesome.
Alan should come around to the camera because I've never met him.
There's Alan.
It's right there.
Hello, Alan.
Where are you?
Where are you guys?
Where are you, Todd?
Shell. We're having a meeting today.
Oh, okay.
Well, there you have it.
So
yeah, staging business, never ending, always buying, always doing something, always learning. And speaking of learning, if you're on the fence about getting to RESACON, jump off that fence, go to your computer right now, www, whatever it is, resaconvention.com, go register today.
Okay.
I don't even say
I've been staging for 12 years, and I've gone to RESACON every single year, and every single year I learn something. that is of incredible value to running my staging business. And it's a great opportunity to network with other stagers in your area and across the country. Put faces to names, people who you're friends with on Facebook. There's nothing like hugging a stager who you've had so many interactions with, and really getting to know them. RESACON is awesome, and I'll continue going for the rest of my staging life.
Well, thank you for that commitment. We appreciate it. I would have to agree. I think not only do people learn a lot from the sessions, and we've learned a lot over the years. I mean, every year we learn from the last one. Okay, this quite didn't work. Let's do something different. So it's always something growing. But now, we're at the 10-year mark. We've really got this nailed down really well. And especially now with the differences from the speakers that we have now that are actually teaching you something, not just talking about theories. So we've made that kind of changeover as a requirement so people can really walk away and learn something. And then, of course, like you said, the networking with all your peers, you're going to learn so much on your breaks and at the dinner and lunches and breakfasts. There's just so much to be able to soak in and learn. And the number one thing that I hear from people, especially when they're newer starting out, is, I was in the business maybe 3 years or 2 years. I wish I would have gone my first year. Okay, but I said I wanted to wait until I could afford it. And now it's like, I wish I would have went my first year. You would be so much ahead of the curve. So that's definitely something to consider. It's right off, well worth it. Lots of education. And like Michelle said, tons of peer-to-peer support and networking. So the Home Staging Industry Awards are also going on right now. If you're a RESA member, you would have received information on how to vote. So you can log in and vote. And if you're not a RESA member, we do have the RESA Most Influential People.com. If you go there, it's for the real estate most influential people. And we're going to compile a list. There won't be one winner, so we're not going to say number one, number two. We're just going to give a list in alphabetical order of those people that are out there that are influencing our industry and well deserving of the recognition for everything that they're doing, because they show up every day when others don't, and they do what they need to do to drive the industry forward and to add professionalism and legitimacy along the way. So we thank everybody for that. It's a great way for us to be able to honor you and give back. That's it. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. So again, resaconvention.com. Get your ticket before it sells out. Thank you. And until we meet again, happy staging. Bye, everybody. Thank you.